Welcome, everyone. We are now in a podcast discussing Sankirtan and Sankirtan Stories. And we are privileged to be with Mahotsaha Das, who currently lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Is that accurate? Are you in Atlanta
Yes,
or a
precisely.
suburb?
Yeah, Atlanta.
Okay. So you're going to tell us some interesting and inspiring stories about your time and experience on Sankirtan and distributing Prabhupada's books. And we're looking forward to that. It's always exciting to be inspired and help others be inspired to go out there and engage in Lord Chaitanya's preaching movement. That's fantastic. Give me a little history. Were you born in India? Were you born here in the States?
Yeah, I was born. I was born. First, people would like to thank you for having me. It's been my dream to, get your association and it's almost like have a kid who's been seeing like a series and he's finally getting to meet the person. So it's truly an honor to be here. And it's not just an objective thing to say, I genuinely feel it. It's really a great honor to get your association.
I'm not worthy, but I guess you can fool some of the people some of the time. So anyway, thank you for those kind words.
Yes.
So this is the first time we're meeting.
Yeah. Yes,
so it's my pleasure. And why don't you tell me and the audience here a little bit about yourself before we get into the actual Sankirtan Stories?
Yeah. So I'm born in Hyderabad, South India. I came to America at the age of 17.
You came to where? I'm sorry, you came to where?
I came to New York.
New York.
I came to New York.
Okay, with your parents?
No, by myself. I got like a partial scholarship in New York University.
Okay.
To study undergrad in there, and just like
everyone. What subject?
Just like everyone in my race, I also studied computer science.
Okay.
So it was on my way to being another IT donkey.
Okay.
But then somehow the other, I was actually I had the good fortune of running into the devotees while we were out on Sankirtan. While they were out on Sankirtan in Union Square Park. Once I had heard the kirtan that the devotees were performing, I felt really inspired to actually join the Krishna consciousness movement. It was almost like a thing that I was waiting for. And then once I heard the Sankirtan, and it just took me about a few months. To just join the devotees and get into this Krishna consciousness. So that's my short take on how it happened.
Okay, so in India, you were not familiar with the devotees. When you were living in India for 16, 17 years before you came to New York, you were not even conscious of the Hare Krishna movement?
I mean, I did go to a ISKCON summer camp at the age of how old was I? I was probably 6 or 7. Before that, I got initiated in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya.
Okay.
I had Samashram. I don't know if it's basically I got branded at the age of 5 or 6. I have a conch shell and a discus on my shoulders.
And in the form of a tattoo?
I knew who Srila Prabhupada was. Okay. I read the Science of Self-Realization, I read the Bhagavad Gita. So when I saw the devotees, I heard them chanting, and I saw the Bhagavad Gita as it is in the Science of Self-Realization. And after that, I was like, yeah, these are the books I read before. And I guess now that was the perfect time for me to just go all the way in.
Right. Good. And then, so you joined the temple there in New York, or you were just living in
I joined the New York City Harinam Ashram. At that point of time, it was under His Grace, Abhiram Prabhu, Ramroy Prabhu, and Rompal Swami also was like a little bit involved in it.
Was that the one in Brooklyn, Sherman?
Basically they had a place in Brooklyn. It's not the Brooklyn Temple, but it was McDougal Street, Brooklyn. It was a New York City Harinam Ashram. The devotees still go out. And they still Harinam and book distribution every day until this day. I think it's been going on for about 9 years now.
Okay. And then you took formal initiation soon thereafter, or?
Yeah, I joined at the age of 19. At the age of 21, I had the good fortune of being initiated by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj.
Was that in person or through letter?
Yeah, that was in person. I went to meet him when His Holiness had been visiting Seattle. That point of time, I'd gone and he very kindly he had given me initiation, accepted me as disciple.
Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
Okay.
No, not
So-
Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Sammamish, like in all the way on the west, like on the west coast, Seattle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So-
Seattle, Washington.
right. So you flew from New York to Washington
Yeah,
just for the initiation.
just for the initiation. And like at that point of time, we didn't even have enough money to even buy the plane ticket. I was having many obstacles. So I was talking to a devotee and I told him that if Krishna wants me to go meet my spiritual master, there's nothing that anyone can do to stop me from meeting him. And if Krishna doesn't want me to meet my spiritual master, there's nothing anyone can do to make me meet him. So that day I was distributing books and I was really praying to Krishna and Tosi Marani, like, I really want to meet my spiritual master, you please do your magic. And then I'd met this person for like probably the second time in my life. And I told him that, my spiritual master is coming and I really want to go meet him. And, if I meet him, he might be so kind to give me his association and make me his disciple. And he said, you know what? I have miles on my flight and I'll book your ticket right now.
Wow. That's
And he
great.
booked it right away on the spot. And next thing I knew, within 3 days, I was on a flight to Seattle.
Okay.
And yeah, it was awesome. It was really something.
It was a miracle.
I couldn't imagine.
It was like a miracle, but we can understand that Krishna's behind
Yeah, bro, it was
everything,
totally a miracle.
directing the wanderings of all living entities. So that's fantastic. You spent a couple of days there. He gave you the name. You met Bhakti Vikas Swami there in Washington, took initiation.
Yeah.
What did he say was the meaning of your name, Mahotsaha?
What did he tell me during the meeting?
When he gave you your beads,
Yeah.
and he said your name is Mahotsaha Das.
Yeah.
Did he tell you the meaning?
Yeah.
That
So
name?
basically, when he saw me and he gave me the beads, he said Mahotsaha Das. It means the servant of one with great enthusiasm. So it's basically Mahotsaha is Maha and Utsaha together is Mahotsaha. So Maha is great and Utsaha is enthusiasm. So he said Mahotsaha Das, and he gave me the beads. I was like, at first I thought it was Mahotsaha, which means a great festival. But then actually, he told me it's Mahotsaha.
Okay.
So one with great enthusiasm.
Well, I think he named you appropriately just from the few
Yeah,
minutes that were here. So I think he did a great job in seeing your heart. That's great.
Yeah.
So then you flew back to New York?
Yeah, I flew back to New York after a few days of getting his association.
And then you were distributing books there. How did you end up in Atlanta?
How did we get here to Atlanta?
Yes.
So basically, it was during the pandemic season. What had happened was the pandemic had hit New York real bad, and this could actually it would just get into like a book distribution story.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So
that's why we're here.
Yeah, right then. So while we were in New York, I was distributing books, and then for some reason I entered into a place and I thought there's going to be a lot of people over there, but there was basically no one. But there was this one person, and ever since I had walked into that venue and I was walking out, he was just staring at me like he was watching TV. So he was staring at me, and I was like, come on, you're looking at me. So if you're looking at me, I have to give you Srila Prabhupada's books. You're the only person here. And our whole philosophy is you give books to anything that moves. Anything that is moving, you go give books to it.
Right.
Whatever. Try your best to give books. Do whatever it takes to make it happen.
Very good.
Then this person was there, and I went up to him and I told him, you got to take these books. These books are the king of knowledge for kings like you, whatever. And then he took the books and he said, I have a really hard time reading them. I said, you don't worry about reading them. You don't read these books will read you. So you have to take these books. So then he said, okay, all right. And he surrendered and he bought the books. And I thought that was it. But then the devotee I was with had left his bag in that venue. So then, I always have this habit. Every time I meet someone, whether or not they take the books, I take their phone number. I take down their phone number. So
And
I
they
can
give
stay in
it?
touch with them.
And
text
and
them
and,
the
and
follow-up
they're
program.
they're not shy to give you their phone number?
I mean, they may
Hesitant?
be shy, but like we convince them somehow or the other. We encourage them, convince them,
Okay.
do it, just make it happen. Most of the time, especially if that if it's a man, like no boundaries. We just do it. We say, come on, how many times have you given your phone number? I tell them the worst that can happen is you can just block me. That's it. What's the problem?
Okay.
Just give
Very
it.
good.
If I'm
Uh-huh.
right, you have everything to gain. If I'm wrong, you have nothing to lose. What's the
Right.
problem here?
Okay, good.
So they just do it. They just give me their number. So I took his phone number down and I called him up. I told him, hey, see, listen, we're having a program in Manhattan. We're having a program in Manhattan, and I met this guy in Long Island. So then I told him, see, I really need you to drive down all the way from Long Island and come to Manhattan to 26 Second Avenue, where the person who wrote the books has started the whole Krishna consciousness movement. I need you to come down here and give us this bag. So he actually came down and gave the bag.
Wow. Okay.
And then,
It's pious.
yeah, it's really nice guy. He came and he did it. And then after that, I didn't really hear much about him. We were in
Mhm.
touch a little bit here and there.
Mhm.
But then over time, he started taking the Krishna consciousness seriously. By his good fortune, he started actually associating with Apurva Prabhu and Kamalini Mataji, your
Mhm.
very glorious God servant,
Mhm.
who we also had the good fortune of meeting. And then he just started reading, getting into the Bhagavatam, especially because they do reading calls on the phone. So he started getting on it. So anyway, we were in touch with him, side story. And then, while we were in New York, the pandemic had hit. And then, we just thought, it'll be a really good idea to get out of New York right now because we couldn't go out on books anyway. So
Right.
we hit, we thought, let's just go to Prabhupada Village in North Carolina.
Okay.
So then before we went to Prabhupada Village, is another Sankirtan story. Before we went to Prabhupada Village, we actually, I remember I was sitting at a window, I was sitting and looking outside the window in New York, and everything was shut down, but there was a truck which had come inside with groceries. And when I saw this truck, I thought that if they can deliver groceries to all these places, they can definitely deliver Srila Prabhupada's books. So what I really have to do right now is I have to really chant those rounds like I've never chanted them before and pray to Krishna to somehow or the other empower me to distribute online books. Bhagavatam says, or whatever, I need to distribute books online.
Mhm.
I know so many people who just make a living just by sitting on their laptop and doing. I was thinking, I'm South Indian. After all, I have the IT guna and karma. So I have to use this in Krishna service somehow. So then I thought, all right, let's do something. So then I started getting on my phone, and next thing you know, we were number one in the world. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of the blue, we started distributing so many Bhagavatam sets. Like in 1 month, we distributed 100 Bhagavatam sets to random people, just messaging them. So
Yeah. Where did you get the phone numbers from? The ones you had already distributed to?
no. This was a total Facebook thing. Facebook, Instagram. Just
You had the
random.
contacts already?
Yeah, and what I would do is I would just keep adding different people on Facebook and try to get them to reply. And if they didn't reply, I just delete them and just continue doing this thing. So it's just like book distribution. You go up to someone and be like, hey, wow, what's up? You got this, you got these books already in the Science of Self-Realization, you got the Bhagavad Gita, you don't have it, you got to get it. And if they're not into it, see you later. So we did the same thing online. Okay, you're not into it, no problem.
Yeah, push on.
So, we went from New York to North Carolina, and next thing you know, we were distributing so many books in North Carolina. But then for some reason, as destiny would have it, or whatever, as Krishna would have it, things didn't go as well as we thought it would go. So this person that I had distributed books to in New York, the only person that was there in the venue, he had actually called us up and he was saying that, hey, I really want to come be with you. I'm having a tough time with my spiritual life here. And we said, okay, you want to come, but the truth is that actually you can't come here because we don't have enough room. We don't have enough room over here. So then he said, you know what? I'm in Atlanta. Why don't you come and check out my house? So we were saying, see, Prabhu, I don't think you understand here. I don't think you really understand what's going on. What's really going on right now is that we have 15 brahmacharis in our ashram, and they definitely will not be enough room for you to host it. He said, why don't you just come and see my house? So me and my temple president, Vishnu Prabhu, we both like drove down all the way from, I mean, it's not all the way, but anyway, from Prabhupada village to Atlanta. And we went and we saw his house, and his house was perfect. You know, he had like a big hall where we could all do kirtan and do our thing. And then he had all these rooms, and he had enough bathrooms, and he had a basement to store Prabhupada's books. So we thought, great, you know, let's just go to Atlanta. So we just moved from Prabhupada village to Atlanta, you know, thinking it's going to be like a small, like a short-term thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as we moved to Atlanta, you know, we went to this person's house, and it was all working out so nicely. But one thing which we didn't do is, because we were distributing so many Bhagavatam sets, we had even distributed the last Bhagavatam set that we had for us to read.
Oh.
You know, in the ashram's possession. So when this person was in New York, I had actually distributed a Bhagavatam set to him 2 years ago. So now I'm in his house with all our brahmacharis, and we're all reading the Bhagavatam set that we had distributed to him a few years ago.
Again.
You know, so like, you know, Prabhupada's books, they came a full circle.
He was
So
he was in New York originally on vacation.
He basically had family in New York.
Okay.
You know, and he was staying there, but then like something happened that he had to move to Atlanta. And then like after maybe 1 or 2 months after we distributed a Bhagavatam set to him, he had actually moved to Atlanta and bought a house in Atlanta. So, you know, it just completely worked out that Krishna had this house waiting for us. So, you know, we were there. Yeah, so that's how we moved. Prabhu.
Okay. When you do Sankirtan book distribution, do you do any street Sankirtan now, or is it all
That's
online?
almost all that we do.
Okay. So when you
sorry.
okay, when you go out, are you dressed as a devotee?
Yeah.
Or you have
Just like this, just like this. Only when we go to a Walmart, we don't wear devotional clothes because they'll nip you like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if you're not going to Walmart, every time we're going on the streets, we're going to any public place or whatever, you know, we always wear dhoti and tilak. Always. Shaved head, dhoti, tilak, Hare Krishna in your face. You know, let them see the devotees on the streets. You know, it totally polarizes them. You know, people are like, they either like you or they hate you, and that's okay.
So,
and even the people that they don't like you, they're going to hear the holy name. Like, we want to shove the Hare Krishna Mahamantra down people's ears if they like it or not. You know, we're going to be chanting Hare Krishna, they like it or not. Some of them are going to like it, some of them are not going to like it. But what's new?
So where are you generally? Are you in a parking lot, or
where am I generally? We usually like, you know, we hit the streets. Like we go to Little 5 Points. That's the spot. Actually, like the Piedmont Park, that was huge. Srila Prabhupada actually blessed that park by taking a morning walk over there.
Mm-hmm.
Piedmont Park was a place where Srila Prabhupada came. And we started off as Sankirtan in Piedmont Park, actually.
Sankirtan meaning book distribution, as opposed to Harinam. Okay.
Book distribution, Harinam. That's where we started off in Atlanta.
And when you approach someone, what would you say, 50% stop, or just fluff you off and pass on by? Or
I mean, in New York, I would say like we used to have 70% stop, 70% like brushes off. In Atlanta, it's about, you know, 75%. Like they just stop because we kind of have like a unique way of approaching them. It's not like hi, hey, hi, or anything like that. You know, be like, hey, what's up, man? You look great. You right there. You look amazing. You're the best thing on the planet right now. What's up? How you doing? You know, just like that. They're completely shocked. They don't expect that you look completely different. You're holding like a whole big stack of Prabhupada's books. You know, you just have this in your hand. You're standing there like, what's up, my man? They go give him a fist bump, and they just like totally confused. They don't know what to do, what to make of it. So yeah, that's how we do it.
Did someone teach you that technique, or that just came to you?
No. It was. I'm not going to say self-inspired, but like, you know, it just, you know, when you're on Sankirtan, like, you know, Krishna just gives you like things that you have to do, things that you do that would work.
Okay. Then when you stop them, let's say the 25% that do stop, when do you introduce the books to them? When do you tell them what this is all about?
So in Atlanta, we have 75% actually stop because of the way we stop.
Okay.
So out of the 75% that stop, you know, we just, you know, we tell them like, wow, you know, just like really amazing. Like sometimes you see Atlanta is especially, you know, it's like 90% Black.
Yes.
So like they're our #1 customers.
Okay.
You know, more than the Indians, more than the Jews or the Christians or whatever, you know, Black, they're #1 customers. So, you know, we would just tell them like, wow, you know, whatever, like I really like your hair, or like if they have like hair, like they always like braid their hair or something. And I don't know, excuse me, how do I get my hair like that, my man? Like what do I do? Or something like that. And then that time, they just laugh or they say something like, wow, you give like the best advice, man. But you know what? I want you to have like the real knowledge right here. And then like, we just say, check it out, my man. And we just put the books in their hand. Like, before we don't give them a chance to say no, yes, this or that. Come on, check it out. Come on, it's okay. It's okay. The best things on the planet, Srila Prabhupada's books. Come on, you have to get it, Keep the books in their hand. And then like, from there we tell them, especially in Atlanta, we tell them, see, my man, look, see. So like, have you ever seen these two books in the bottom before? And then they say, no, I say, see, these books are like world famous books. They help you understand who you are. You're not your body, or the life inside your body. I tell them this Bhagavad Gita. Tupac Shakur, Nelson Mandela, Will Smith, Muhammad Ali, Albert Einstein, all of them got its 5,000-year-old knowledge. And then this is what really sells them. I tell them in the Christian book, I said, excuse me, my brother, man, God is like spiritually black, right? And they're like, yeah, man, I've been thinking about that. I said, yo, this book right there speaks about the spiritually black God, Krishna, bro. And like these 3 books on top gives you the topmost knowledge, helps you distinguish reality from illusion, and keeps you out of delusion. This knowledge is like pure and sublime. It's also got the RAM. You just got to have the time, my man. And we just tell them something like that. And they totally like, whoa, my man. I tell them, see, bro, listen, how much do you think they sell books like this in a store like Barnes & Noble? Because you're like, you look pretty noble. And they say like, I don't know, man, these books are expensive. I say, yeah, they sell each for 30, whole thing for 200, man. But listen, we're monks. We don't do that, Each book just takes us like $7 to print. And what's 7 times 7? And sometimes they're really good at math, and sometimes they're really bad at math. So sometimes they say like 7 times 7, like 26, right? Like, I don't think so, man. Let's use a calculator, But anyway, they say 49. I say, it takes us 49 to print. It's 49. It's your time to shine. Make it happen, man. Come on. Or, something like that. And
what if they then, yeah, okay, that's good. And what if they say, well, listen, I got 5. Just give me one of those books.
Give 5. I said, man, do 10 for the men, my man. Do 10 for the men. And like, we give them this. Let me give you the same books in a smaller size just for the 10. Come on, man. Do 10 for the men, Okay. And they usually give 10.
Okay.
For these 4 beautiful books.
Very good. Are there any specific miracle or amazing stories about your book distribution that you would like to share?
Oh, for sure. So, basically, like, in our place right now, we have so many young devotees who have actually joined us. They're about going from the age of 20 to like 25, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
They come every morning. They come for Mangalarti. They're all black-bodied devotees. They wear tilak, they wear kantimala. Like some of them, the men wear dhotis, the women wear saris. And like just by this book distribution, we're actually able to like create an entire community of devotees, just by doing this. And, one story, of course, is that this was the first or the second time I was in Piedmont Park distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. And then I had like gone up to this guy. His name is Bhakti Nick. His name is Nick. Sorry, now he's Bhakti Nick. His name is Nick. And I basically—
How do you spell that?
N-I-C-K, Nick.
Nick. Okay, go ahead.
Like Nicholas.
Okay.
So, I met him and I basically like told him about Srila Prabhupada's books and all this and all that. And he had bought the books. He gave me like maybe $30, got like, he didn't get this set because I ran out of these books. I didn't know how good it's actually going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he bought these sets of books. He bought three stacks of these 3 Bhakti stacks over here. So this Bhakti stack is usually the Science of Self-Realization, Bhagavad Gita, Isha Upanishad, Nectar of Instruction. So like, he had got this set from me. And then, I stayed in touch with him. And then I had, he came to our second Sunday program that we ever had in Atlanta. And then after he came, he just was like, I think I sent you this video, right, Prabhu? You saw it, like the Nick speaks about the effects of prasadam.
Right.
So, he had basically started like coming and like, he had all these questions about Jesus and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But then like, we answered them, just like the way Srila Prabhupada answered them. He said whatever Srila Prabhupada said. And then he started taking the Krishna consciousness seriously. So then he's starting to be a lawyer right now. He's starting to be a lawyer. So Nick, he's like chanting at least 12 to 16 rounds every day, doing his best to follow the 4 regulative principles, reading Srila Prabhupada's books and doing that, associating with devotees and doing the whole thing. So while he was he's in DC right now. So while he was in DC, he had actually like told his friend about us. So at that point of time, we were in Piedmont Park. We didn't really have a place to do our Sunday program. So we were sitting under a tree and it was raining. But still, we had a group of people who were around us. So then I was giving the class, and every time I give a Bhagavatam class, it's basically like an advertisement to buy the Srimad Bhagavatam set. That's basically what it is. They're like, Bhagavatam, you gotta take it. It's awesome. And it speaks about this and that. And like we explain the whole philosophy, but ultimately everything is in the Bhagavatam. Book distribution is the only solution. The best thing you can do with your life is throw out your TV and buy a Srimad Bhagavatam set and, stuff like that. So then after the class, after I said it, this guy got like so fired up and he said, I was like, who wants a Bhagavatam set? Me. Like, all right, great. And then he went and he bought a Bhagavatam set. The first time he ever met. I mean, it's the first time you ever meet someone, for the first time. The best thing that you could possibly give them is a Bhagavatam set, because giving someone a Bhagavatam, it gets you like really high. It gets you really pumped up. So,
and these are hardback books?
The Bhagavatam, the 18-volume Bhagavatam set that, we even just today, one of the things we really love to do is like just go around the streets and like give Bhagavatam sets to people. Like, this just today also we distributed like this huge, this Bhagavatam set to this really sweet guy. I can just show you a picture in Peru. Yeah, here you go. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like, that's how we do it. We pile up the books, we keep Narasimhadev on top, just for the protection, So he was like, a Bhagavatam, who was it? I want a Bhagavatam. I said, great, buy it. And he bought it and it was awesome. And then, he started coming around, and he's not as serious as Nick. But then on the 14th of February, he came back, they were all studying in Harvard College, Harvard
University.
School. Yeah, not Morehouse. They all study
Morehouse.
Morehouse,
Okay.
Atlanta. So like there's the guys go to Morehouse, the girls go to Spelman. So on the 14th of February, he had actually come with one of his friends to the program, and she had come and again, it just so happened that I was giving the class, and someone had just, usually when we're giving the Sunday feast class, like Srila Prabhupada said, we don't talk about the 4 regulative principles. Like, it's not a 4 regulative principles class, We tell them, of course, it's intoxication and this and that, but it's a class on the Bhagavad Gita. It's not a class on the 4 regulative principles.
Okay.
So we usually don't go like super heavy on meat eating or something like that. But then someone had asked us a question about meat eating.
Mm-hmm.
So that point of time, I was like, this is my chance, So I just like went all out and telling them how much pain it causes, and eating a cow, and every hair on the cow, you have to take those many birds. Do you really want that for yourself? And this and that, and this and that. And as Mataji was there, and she heard the class. She's like, you know what? Maybe I should stop eating meat. And she stopped, and and now what's the date? Today is the 8th of November. Now she's basically chanting 16 rounds. She's taking shelter of my spiritual master. And she comes to Mangalati every day without fail, wearing sari. These are all black women, they're not Indians. They're not
right.
They're not 7th generation elitist vegetarians and blessed by the highest brahmanas and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
These are black people. And she was from New York too. She moved down to Atlanta to go to Spelman, and then she met the devotees, and now she's totally into it. Fired up book distributor. This Mataji herself, she distributes Bhagavatam sets on the streets herself. She sees that we're doing it, so she wants to do it, and she does it. And it's really nectarian. So it's really awesome how this book distribution has such an effect upon people's lives. That you give a book to one person, and especially when you give a stack of books to someone, because we tell them my man, I don't know, you only got 2 eyes, so you can read 2 books at a time. So I got presents for your friends. So they go and when you distribute a stack of books like this to someone, you're making a book distributor on the spot, because they more than likely are going to be giving these books to someone else without fail. So this is Srila Prabhupada's transcendental potency, that Srila Prabhupada can actually pick up any person off the streets and bring them to the platform of Abhideya, where they're serving the Supreme Lord knowingly or unknowingly. That's Srila Prabhupada's genius. And so when we give Srila Prabhupada's books, this guy went and gave that guy a book, and this guy got a Bhagavatam set the first time, and then he got his friend over, And like, she's fully surrendered and she's distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. And we have so many young people, probably like you won't believe it. It's like back in the 70s, but like mainly Black people this time.
Right. Is there a particular, do you use one line for everybody, or depending on the person, young, old, that you might preach a little differently?
It's as spontaneous as it gets. Sometimes like when I see like an older white gentleman wearing glasses, I say, excuse me, sir, you look like a philosopher and a scholar. Or like we tell him, excuse me, sir, you look like a young Steve Jobs. Or like we tell for white people, we don't have so many lines, unfortunately. Like what we one of the things we tell them is like, excuse me, my man, you look like the guy from Top Gun. I don't probably, it's like a waste of time, but anyway, watching such movies. But back as a carmy, there was this movie called Top Gun, and like Tom Cruise is in it.
Sure.
I tell him like, my man, you look like Maverick from Top Gun, my man. Or like, whatever. We tell them something that like that. Like, man, thank you. They always fall for it every single time, every time. And then for the Matajis, we tell them, miss, you look like a yoga guru. And then sometimes if we really run out of things to say, like, excuse me, you look like a zonal acharya. And they're like, what does that mean? I said, we got to read these books, man. You got to find out, just we tell them whatever we can think about, anything you can think about, like whatever, for example, we also have this really awesome set. Yes, we have this is famously known as the Saptarishi set, of course.
What kind of set?
We call it the Saptarishi set, like basically the 7 sages, because there's 7 books,
Okay.
So like, you have 7 of Srila Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada actually writes in the letter that if you were to simply read the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and Nectar of Devotion, that is enough to go back home, back to Godhead. So we thought, why don't we add like a Bhagavatam 1.1, Journey of Self-Discovery and the Science of Self-Realization. So, along with this Saptarishi set, we also have this set known as the Mahatattva set, which basically is the Saptarishi along with the Prabhupada Leela Amrita. So that's basically like 14 hardbound books. We have to give us $100 for that one. So one of the things I used to use this, especially in New York, is because especially in New York, in order to stop someone in the subway, you have to like say something crazy or do something.
Yes.
Get their attention, because
there's a mad crowd there.
Running race. It's like a rat race, and you can see the rats running.
I've been there.
Oh, probably, yeah. Okay, so right? So this guy was walking by. Like one of the things I used to tell, especially when I used to see like Black people, one of the things I used to tell people is that, my man, excuse me, my brother, like, bro, excuse me, and then they look at me like, bro, are you Jewish? And like, it's a Black guy. He's like, excuse me, are you Jewish? And I said, man, no. I said, man, me neither, man. And I just give him a hug, and it's like they completely stop, and then like if they say I'm Jewish, I'm like, bro, I love Jews, man. What's up? And like just give him books. Like, so I said, excuse me, my brother, are you Jewish? He said, no, my man. I said, man, you're like tall, dark, and handsome. How you doing today? He said, I'm doing good. And then like I just went and I just pitched. I pitched like this. I pitched this Saptarishi, and I was just like so fired up because to meet this guy, and this guy was like, I kid you not, he was probably like 7'2" or something like that. Really tall guy. Basketball player. Probably. And then he had like dreadlocks all the way down to like his legs, and he was a really tall guy. And then like, I don't even remember what exactly. I told him like, my man, today is your lucky day. We got Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita. You know who Srila Prabhupada is? I said, no, who is it? I said, he's the greatest saint that ever walked the planet, man. You want to be a saint or a demon? What's going on with you? And he said, man, I want to be a saint. I said, that's right, man. Be a saint. Learn from Srila Prabhupada, man. And I gave him like the Saptarishi, and I gave him the Prabhupada Leela Amrita. I told him, my man, this is like the king of knowledge for kings like you, You got to get these books. Okay. And then he said, all right, whatever. And then like, he just like gave me $100 bill, and he just like, what? He just like this huge, you can imagine this huge 7'2" guy walking back with like this stack of 14 books. And I have a picture with him, and I look like a midget. Like I look so short compared to this guy. I'm probably like 5'10" or 5'11". This guy is like tall like anything. He's like holding these 14 books, and he's just walking back like that, just.
Well, with such a pile of books, do you have bags?
Yeah.
Well, I can't carry these.
Yeah. So what we usually do is we give people like these bags that you keep gallons of milk in. So we, there's like these really good, heavy duty blue bags that we give people.
Okay. Because what a type of arguments would the people give that you then have to defeat? What do they say? That I don't have the money, I don't have a credit card, or, it's too many books. What are the typical lines that they
They're like, no,
give?
they're like, man, I
that-
really don't have cash. I really don't have cash. I said, no problem. We take Cash App, Apple Pay, Venmo, Zelle, cell phone, iPhone, headphones, shoes, glasses, whatever you want. I tell them, glasses, you see my glasses, man? You think these are my glasses? No, I got it from someone else. So can I try yours on? Or something like that. And they just like, and they just crack up. I said, come on, man, come on. Do it for Krishna, bro. Come on, do it. Do it for Krishna. And I just tell them something like that. And they give it through Cash App or Venmo. Like we give them, we give them the best opportunities. Like they just cannot say no. We just try our best. Like get them to do it. No matter, it's the best thing for them. It's the best thing for us. It's the best thing for everyone. It's the best thing at all given time. At any point of time, at any given place. But then sometimes like people are like, I'm not interested. I said, all right. One of the things we do is we don't waste time. We have like this 3-minute rule.
Okay.
Don't talk to anyone for more than 3 minutes unless you're selling them a Bhagavatam set.
Hmm.
Bhagavatam set, 7 minutes. Other books, other stacks, 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, you can tell if a person's into it or not. So like, if people say, but I'm Christian. I said, wow, you're a Christian? I said, man, me too, man. I'm a Christian too. These books teach you to be like Christ-like. If Jesus Christ were to come right now, he joined the Christian consciousness movement. You gotta these books teach you to be just like Christ. And we tell them, but Science of Self-Realization, page 116, speaks about Krishna or Christ. The name is the same. Come on.
Well, I have the Bible.
You have the Bible. That's great. These books will teach you how to preach the Bible better, man. You want to be the greatest preacher of the Bible ever? You want to do what Christ did for Christianity? These books right here, they're the answers, man. Come on, do it. Whatever they say, we just throw them back at them just like that.
Okay. Now, if you have so many sets, how many sets are you selling on the average each day that you?
On the average each day, I mean, this was we had a whole bunch of festivals, but on average we sell. If you're focusing on distributing Saptarishi sets, maybe 35 to 40 a day.
And where do you store them when you go out?
Okay, so great. Oh, I can actually show them, bro. Just give me 1 second. I wanted to get you the box actually. Hey, Chandan. Hare Krishna. Is anyone out there? Hey, Prabhu, can you get a empty crate? Siddhanta Prabhu wants to see crate where we keep our stacks in. Yeah, a tote. And also, if you can get a proper get the nectar book distribution, I want to show them the picture too. One of the guys has it, but get me the tote first. Yeah. So we store these books in totes. Basically we have 2 totes that can hold a certain amount of books. So
how do you spelling that? Tote?
T-O-T-E.
Tote.
Anyway,
Okay.
I'll show it to you right now.
Okay.
So yes, great. So this here we actually have yellow tote. It's
Okay. All right.
And we store.
How many sets will that hold?
4. It can hold 4 Saptarishi sets and 20 Bhakta stacks. That's what we call the Bhakta stacks. So we put them in here, and then yellow ones are for Saptarishis and the green ones are for the Bhakta stacks.
Now the ones that go in the yellow, are those hard? All those are hardback.
Hardback.
And
the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya is flexi-bind.
Okay, and then the other set of 3 are
All
those
soft,
soft?
all soft.
Those are softback. Okay. Great. What else? So
we also use this. This is all glories to Gopal Champu Prabhu. He's the one who discovered this. There's this. We have this thing called a U line. It's a U line. It's U line H407. That's the name of the model. That's what we use to transport all our books. We put all these totes on these U lines, and we very, very efficient if anyone is into it. And then if we are ever distributing books and we have to wear backpacks when we go to music festivals, we have these REI hiking backpacks which can hold. I usually on my back I wear maybe 40 pounds worth of books. So that backpack is really good because I don't really feel it so much. So these backpacks, if anyone is into
how many sets does that hold?
So it holds about it holds 4 of them, and then like it holds 4 of them in here in the backpack, and for the bhakti stacks it holds about 30, and then I hold some of them in my hands too.
And what you can't carry is in the van that you then refill.
What we can carry is what we do is we actually have the U line, and the U line it basically becomes like a flatbed truck. And then like we store up all the books on that, and we have one book distributor distributing books around the totes and around our books, so we don't have to go anywhere. We just go back and refill.
How many hours a day are you going out on the average?
6 to 8, sometimes 12. One day I was like hell bent on trying to break Hainaman and the Prabhu's record. I would really wanted to go out for 12 hours. And if I went out for 12 hours, I would have probably beat his record, but I only went out for like 9.5 hours. So this is, I don't know if you can see.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
Which, the tall guy?
You see me right here, Prabhu?
With the glasses?
Yeah, that's me with the glasses. And you see the guy with the 14 books?
Oh, okay. There. Yeah. He's got the hat on.
Yeah, that's.
Okay. Yeah.
He's the guy that got
He's the tall guy.
The tall guy.
The basketball player, maybe.
Yeah, I could send you a real picture.
Okay. What about when you go out? Do you carry a lot of cash? Do people give you cash for books?
So we
You want
carry
change
everything.
or?
So what I usually use, I'll just show you what I use for. 1 minute, I can just get it. I usually use this. I use my fanny pack. It matches with my dhoti, so people don't realize I'm wearing a fanny pack. So it's good. Like, oh, this monk doesn't have any money. Yeah, that's true. Check my pockets; it's empty, man. So I usually wear an orange fanny pack, so it sort of mixes with the dhoti.
Right. Now, the people that you're meeting, Krishna says in the Gita, I believe, that there are 4 reasons why someone seeks out God.
Right.
Distressed, in need of money, inquisitive, in search of knowledge.
Right.
What are the people like that you're meeting? What do you think, where are they coming from? Or a mixture of all those 4?
Most of the time, it's a mixture of all the 4. The people that are surrendering, they're usually like what's that? They're either the jigyasus, or they're like the people who are really suffering, those who are inquiring into the absolute truth. When people that really join, people, as of now, people don't really come. The artharthis don't really come. Like who want wealth, they don't usually come so much. But like, those who are like in distress and those who are inquisitive, some are in search of the absolute truth, and those ones are always the best to work with.
All right. Great. Now, there's a lot of devotees now are doing book tables.
Yeah.
Are you doing that at all? Setting up a table at a university or any location? Or people will come to you?
We sometimes do the book tables too in universities, but what I usually use, wherever I can set up book tables, I usually use it to like set up all my books, so people are like super attracted to it. So like we usually like go around distributing books, and we also like stay in one place. Last time I went to Georgia Tech, we had a book table set up, and that was great. That was awesome. Whatever works for book distribution, we use it. Sometimes if tables work, we set up a table. But ideally, what we do most of the time is like, if we're going to a particular area, we like to find a junction where a lot of people are walking. And like we set it up a little bit on the side of that junction, and there we're able to hit people up more and more and more and more.
But you're standing there waiting for the people to come by and approach. And
then, if I see someone walk, I'm going to walk up to them too.
Now, are you with a partner? Are you close to another
our rule
devotee?
is no brahmachari goes alone.
So how far away are you from your godbrother distributing?
Right, he's in the ashram. He's in the ashram right now, but he was like engaged in doing some of the service.
No, I understand. But physically, are you right next to each other, and you're like?
No, we're usually in the same parking lot, or in the same like area distributing books.
Okay.
We can see each other as long as within vision of each other. or even if you're not, he may be on the north side of the airport, I may be on the south side of the airport, but if we don't see each other for like more than like 1 hour, like we have to go check on the other person.
Mhm. Right.
We've heard of way too many nightmares of,
Mhm.
brahmacharis going around out by themselves and like, meeting with problems or difficulties. So, our thing is no brahmachari goes out by himself. Even if he wants to go to the grocery store or walk or something, like you don't leave the ashram by yourself because it's just
Good
not
point.
safe.
Any run-ins with the law where you've been
Yeah.
asked for permits to be in a certain
Yeah.
location?
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
Mrigendra Prabhu.
Hmm.
Call up Mrigendra Prabhu. And like, he's our lawyer. He helps us a lot with it, with all these things. So, in Piedmont Park, once they were trying to give us a hard time, and then Mrigendra Prabhu gave us all the evidence that we needed, and we told him, see, we have all the evidence. If you want, we can take it to the court. And then like they were just like, all right, whatever, let us do our thing. And then with the airport, we get permits and we have to work exactly according to that. The police really like us in Atlanta so far. That's been our experience. Other than when you really act up, that's when it gets really bad. But we only had like one devotee who was visiting us who had a bad, who really acted up, and that was not so nice. But we usually the cops are really friendly with us. They really like what we're doing, and it's nice. It's a favorable atmosphere.
You give them the policeman any prasadam or anything like that?
Prasadam, books. They even, on their off duty, they even come and attend all our classes.
Really?
Yeah, they're into it like anything.
Are you doing the airport? You're inside the airport in Atlanta, which is
so
huge.
we work the gates, so not allowed to distribute books inside the airport.
The gates, meaning
The gates. I mean, like basically, you have the arrivals and the departures.
Yeah.
So like at the arrivals, people walk out waiting for the cars to come. Right, for people to come pick them up.
Pick them up, yeah.
Basically, like on the footpath right outside.
Okay.
That's where we have permission to distribute.
Okay. Tell me what about the Gita, or what about the Bhagavatam that inspires you to want to distribute to someone else? What are the teachings that fascinates you that personally that you didn't know when you were before you were 19 years old that attracted you to this movement?
I mean,
how did you grow up? Were you growing up in a household of Hindus or Christians?
Yeah,
or?
basically. I mean, like we were Sri Vaishnavas, at least for a good section of our time. And then due to bad association, the thing was the Siddhanta wasn't being preached. So they basically ended up and basically are like Mayavadis. But
so what about Prabhupada's books?
Prabhupada's
attracted you? What was the knowledge that you received from his books that amazed you, that was like convincing for you to join and then to distribute the books? What about the philosophy that particularly hit you?
Two things. So firstly, I would with the South Indian conditioning that I had, I would probably not be so attracted to the Krishna consciousness movement if they weren't worshiping Narasimhadev.
If there wasn't what?
If they weren't worshiping Narasimhadev, I wouldn't be so attracted.
Okay.
So like when I saw that these devotees were worshiping Narasimhadev, I said, oh, Narasimha is here. Okay. Very nice, So that's one thing. But from Srila Prabhupada's book, the Siddhanta, the whole Bhakti Siddhanta that's within Srila Prabhupada's books, it totally inspires me. And more than anything, the entire mood of Sharanagati that is presented in Srila Prabhupada's books of total and complete dependence upon the mercy of Krishna. That is like the whole thing, because, coming from like a Sri Vaishnava background, you're always thinking that, oh, are you taking the path of being like a lion, like a cub, where the lion just does everything for you? Or are you going to be like the monkey who's going to hold on to the mother? But then I read in Srila Prabhupada's books that it's actually like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the example of someone throwing a rope inside a well, and you have to hold on to that rope. And also you have to depend on the mercy of the person who's pulling that rope out, pulling that rope to pull you out of it. So what really inspires me the most about Srila Prabhupada's book, so many things, every day is something new, everything is something awesome. Every day we can, whatever we see and read and hear in Bhagavatam class, we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we can apply them. And the one thing which really like hits me straight is like Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, text number 22. Ananya shintayanto mam yejana paripasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshem vahamyaham. Then for those who are constantly meditating upon Krishna's transcendental form, Krishna preserves what they have and he carries what they lack. So, when I read this in Srila Prabhupada's books, and I heard about his example, and I've seen how he's done it, and how he's basically, completely given his life to Krishna like that, and his book, and how much time Prabhupada spent. Prabhupada sacrificed his sleep. Prabhupada sacrificed everything to get these books printed, to have these books. So then when I read Srila Prabhupada's books, everything in Srila Prabhupada's books makes complete and total sense. This person knows me better than I know myself. Srila Prabhupada's books create such an influence on people's lives. I've seen how much of an influence it's created on my life. That when I read Srila Prabhupada's books, I read Srila Prabhupada's books when I was 8 years old, actually. I memorized most of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita when I was 8 years old. Because I went to this bhakti camp or whatever. I studied, so many shlokas and this and that. And I never forgot the kind of influence that Srila Prabhupada's books had on me. And then just for me to see these two books again, Science of Self-Realization and Bhagavad Gita, I was completely taken aback. And of course, in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, the verse which is always, haunting me, and we have it up there. I'm not so good with the camera, but I can show it to you later. That Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's favorite, he said that he would preach this verse until the day that he left his body. And no matter where he was, he would have this verse be put up on his wall. And this verse is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 9, text number 29. Labdha sadurlabham idam bahusam bhavante manusham artadam anityam api hadira turnam yatetana patet anumrityu yava nishaya saya vishaya kalu sarvata syat. That, this human form of life is so rarely obtained. So while one has this human form of life, one must do whatever it takes in order for them to attain self-realization and not waste their time in sense gratification, which is available to animals also. After all, Krishna consciousness is only possible for a human being. Therefore, a person must do everything one can possibly do to take to this Krishna consciousness and make it their life. So these two verses give me so much inspiration in Krishna consciousness. Of course, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and the bhajans of the previous Vaishnava acharyas that Srila Prabhupada quotes in his books. Everything about it, it's hard to pick one. Of course, you know better than I can ever know, but it's hard to pick one. It's hard to pick what really inspires. Right. To be honest, what really attracts me to Srila Prabhupada the most is his Guru Bhakti. The devotion that he had for his spiritual master is unprecedented in the world. This Guru Bhakti that Srila Prabhupada had for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has taken over the world. It's created a revolution of Krishna consciousness, which is completely, is flooding the entire material world. Yasya devi para bhaktir yatha devi tata guru tasyati katita hyata prakashante mahatmanaha. The one who has unflinching faith in Guru and Krishna, all the imports of Shastra are naturally revealed to them. Who can personify that better than Srila Prabhupada? Who is there on this one? Never has there been any person in the past, or not will there be anyone like Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is so unique, such an acharya. So when I read his books, his Guru Bhakti is oozing out of every drop of ink, and not only every drop of ink, even the white space between those lines. His Guru Bhakti is oozing out, his Bhakti to Krishna is oozing out, and it's contagious. It's really contagious.
That's fantastic. What enables you, what inspires you then to go out and give it to others? What has hit you your heart where you're convinced that this is what you need to do? My spiritual master told me to do so. Okay, there you go.
I have no Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Korea Aikya Arana Kori Homane Ash. I was just reading books before Krishna manifested himself as my spiritual master. And that saved my life like anything. And of course, after I met my spiritual master, he basically wants me to dedicate my life to distributing Srila Prabhupada's books and teach others how to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. And because of that, we're actually raising an army of Sankirtan devotees who are willing to go and attack the citadel of Maya and take it down. No matter where we go, we've been to Miami, we've been to Orlando, we've been to a Trump rally. We actually thought, let's really push it. Let's go to a Trump rally and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books.
Any
We
luck
went to
there?
a Trump rally and we distributed 500 books to the
500
Trump
books.
500
What would
books.
what would you say to
Like,
a Trump follower?
So I only had one thing which was working throughout the entire rally. Like you'd see someone that was coming and we'd see them wearing their MAGA hats and all that.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, are you here for Donald Trump? My man, this is for people who support Donald Trump, is to give you good luck and good fortune in life, my man. It's all about making America great. You want to make America great by distributing Prabhupada's books. Are you in it or what?
And you're dressed in a dhoti?
Prabhu, of course. This is how we
And a
do.
Trump rally.
In a Trump rally. We did wear a MAGA hat just for safety reasons, but we did wear a hat just for safety reasons. But they were like, wow, all right, I'll take it. And they were doing all this, these books are all about making America great. All about making America great. You want to make America great, book distribution is the only solution. You got to do it. We even pushed it. We took it to the Trump rally. We've been to we went to Halloween. That was like a music festival. We distributed like 3,000 books. At 3,000 books in 2 days, $12,000. Just distribution of Prabhupada's books. Every inch of our ashram is based on is built from book distribution money. Every inch of our ashram. And we just bought a new church. We're renovating it right now. Every inch is being paid for by Srila Prabhupada's books. And some people are giving us donations. And of course, we love big donations. But we try our best. We do it all by Srila Prabhupada's because Prabhupada says books are the basis. So we literally are trying to base our life on Srila Prabhupada's books.
So the happiness that you derive from distributing Prabhupada's books has got to be beyond anything that you experienced before you became a devotee.
It's the highest high that that I ever experienced in my life. And it only gets better.
Okay. Now, what would you say to someone in the temple who is more on the mental platform and hasn't got the Shakti and the realizations that you had, where the mind is always saying, oh, it's too cold out, I'm too tired, I don't know, I'm not inspired by it. The mind is speaking. So how do you talk to the mind?
If it's too cold, wear a scarf and wear another jacket and get out the door. If it's too hot, well, wear a hat and get out the door. If it's meant, the best way to beat up the mind is to do exactly what it doesn't want to do. And ultimately, when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, how can we not see and realize the fact that we're the only thing standing between them, between the karmis and hell? We're the only thing standing between them. And we have something which will completely, relieve them of all their sinful activities and all these things. How can we not go and give it to them? How can we not? We have to read Srila Prabhupada's books. The only reason most of the time I've found people being mental are when people who don't wake up before 4 a.m. You wake up before 4 a.m., take a nice shower, attend Mangal Aarti, dance in the Mangal Aarti, chant your 16 rounds, attend the Bhagavatam class, eat fantastic Krishna Prasadam, and how can you not want to go out to Srila Prabhupada's book distribution? We just have to plug into the program. We don't have a choice here. Who's giving you a choice? You have to do it for Srila Prabhupada. Why don't you just do it? You're so lucky to receive it. You should go and give it to someone else.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, you've given me great inspiration. I love your energy.
That's one of our lines. I love your energy, Mama.
Okay. Well, it's working. It's working on you. I'm ready to go out myself. But anyway, I appreciate your time. Any suggestions about maybe chanting your rounds? Let's talk about that. Just end on how you can advise someone about chanting your rounds. How significant is that? You mentioned that as far as the ability to go out and distribute. How important is that, and how do you focus on your rounds? What's the meditation?
Yeah, everything is coming from chanting the holy names, of course. Harinam eva kevalam. There is no other way. So, the thing which I like to do is, I just like to, every time my mind gives me a problem, I just like to hear the Maha Mantra. Just chant the Maha Mantra and hear the Maha Mantra and just just hear, sit down and hear it, walk around and hear it. But then like sometimes when my mind is really giving me like difficulty, I just like to sit in front of the picture of my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and just like pray in front of him. And like when the acharyas are there, when you actually like sit in front of a picture of the previous acharyas, the acharyas are looking at you. The acharyas are there. They want you to chant your rounds properly. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, you must make the chanting of the holy name the most important part of your day. So we should. I try my best on a personal level to do that as much as possible. Of course, right now, I'm the Sankirtan leader, but I'm also like the vice president of this temple, and we just bought a new temple. And like when you're buying a new temple, it's really crazy. So like my schedule is off. I'm up until like 12 o'clock chanting my rounds sometimes. But no matter when I'm chanting my rounds, it's super like it just has to be super focused. Right. And sometimes if it gets really bad, I look at different quotes or like whatever I've read, in Srila Prabhupada's books. I just like stop my rounds and I read for like maybe like a few minutes and then I pick my beat back up and chant again. But this is our ultimate lifeline, chanting the holy names. This is our ultimate lifeline. Everything comes from chanting the holy name.
Very good. One last question. Sometimes Prabhupada, when he would say that you can actually say a verse from the Bhagavatam or a verse from the Gita or a verse from the book, and the books sell themselves.
Yeah.
Do you do that, or is it mostly
Absolutely.
like your lines?
Absolutely.
Tell me about what you would say in relationship to preaching on the basis of the book.
Preaching on the basis of the books, especially when we're distributing the Bhagavatam, Prabhu. So this is actually quite a unique experience that I actually had. Met this Mataji on where was this? Union Square Park. Krishna Prasad Prabhu met her, and then like she liked it so much, she wanted us to come to her house, and she wanted to give us whatever, some water, fruits, or whatever, something like that. So then we went to her house, and we went with a whole we went with all of Srila Prabhupada's books, and this is what we call like the Narayan Jwara set, where basically we have all of Srila Prabhupada's books and the Bhagavatam and the Chaitanya Charitamrita and everything that Srila Prabhupada wrote. So we went into a house with this, and then, we told her that you see these books, they're sentient, they're not just ordinary books. They can speak to you, you can actually lift it up and pick it up. So this Mataji basically like picked up this. I said, okay, I'll pick any verse, go ahead. And she picked up the books, she opened the verse, and it basically was speaking about how, Maharaj Parikshit is going to be so charitable. Like, he'll be as charitable, I think, as King Shibi or one of the kings, and that he'll be willing to give anything to anyone or whatever. And like, she opened it and she just started crying and crying and crying and crying. She's like, oh, these books. I want all these books. And I want all these books. And then, we have, I don't know if you've seen this. This comes in handy like a lot. This is the world famous square. It plugs in straight to your phone.
Right.
And then you can swipe anyone's credit card.
Right.
Or debit card. So like, so I said, all right, so what's your favorite number? How much you want to put in? So then like, she put in 88888. So she put in, close to $900. And then what we do on top of everything is after we charge the phone, after we charge it, it actually gives an option of trying to add a tip, so it basically like, gives you like, you want to leave a tip 10%, 20%, 30%. Right. So then she was like, she saw, of course I'll give another tip. And she hit like another 30%. So basically like, she ended up giving us like $1,400 for Srila Prabhupada's books just by reading a verse. And it was so ecstatic. I remember I had to chant my rounds on the way back. We were in the train, like it's so nectarian. The most ecstatic experience is like when you go with like your cart full of books and you're coming back just with the cart, So coming back, I was trying to chant my rounds and I couldn't chant my rounds. It was so ecstatic. I was completely choked up. My hands were completely standing on end. It was really awesome. And it's something I'll never forget. I hope I remember at the moment of death. It's such a nectarian moment. And then, even every time in our Sunday feast programs, we always have like this, the Bhagavatam set up, like we just like show it off and put it in people's face as much as possible, So like we set up the Bhagavatam and the whole class, especially in the end, I always make the announcements. And the last announcement, I tell them, like, I don't care if you've been sleeping all this while, you're waiting for the lecture to stop. but please open both your ears and hear this. You see that big set of books is the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I do my whole pitch, And every time people come, we give the books in their hand and say, open the books and like read any verse from it, whatever you read, And they open it up and they read and they say, why don't you pick a verse? So then we pick them. Krishne Swadamo Pagate, Dharma Gyana Divisaha, Kalo Nasha Dishamesha Purana Arko Dunoditaha. That this Srimad Bhagavatam is, as brilliant as its son is arisen just in the age of Kali. Or like, we show them Idam Bhagavatam Nama, Purana Brahma Samhitam, Uttama Shoka Charitam. So like we show them that this Srimad Bhagavatam is actually written by the incarnation of God. It is the literary incarnation of God. It's all blissful, all successful. We show them that verse. We show them Dharma Projita Kaitavota Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam. We show them the 1.1.2, we show them these verses. And then if things get really like, people are really crazy, that time I just like, show them Narsimha Leela, and I pick up the Bhagavatam, like, see what Hiranyakashipu did, and I make him read like the, and like, whoa, I'm like, yeah, see, Narsimha Dev can protect you. You want this protection? Or like, they say something like, and they're into it, bro. They're super duper. If we are convinced, we can convince anyone.
All right. Listen, I've got 4 more minutes here.
Yes,
I want to ask you one last question.
Yes,
regarding, Prabhupada often said that the book, the paintings, the artwork in the book sells the book itself. They're windows to the spiritual world. With your books that are piled high with a ribbon around them, how can you open it up and show them any pictures?
Like this. Look, show them this. Show them the Vishnu. And sometimes they just pull them out and I show to them anyway. What's the problem? We can always, it's just a ribbon. We can tie it back up.
Okay, so you do that sometimes? Do the pictures help sell?
Yeah, I just like open the book, open the ribbon, and I lay out all the 7 books really attractively, and I make them open up the books and see it. But usually it's done in three minutes like that. So we show them, someone is into it, we open it and show them. And if they're not, we put it back and tie it back up. No problem.
Are the pictures in the Gita or any other book more conducive to selling a book in your experience?
To be honest, Prabhu, so far, my experience has been that people are super duper attracted to the Bhagavatam 1.1. Just the cover of the Bhagavatam 1. What can be, when I first saw this, I was saying this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The spiritual sky, with Radha and Krishna, that in my experience, that's been like the best. Along with, of course, the science of self-realization, we have like Mahavishnu, where we have like, was it Shirodakshaya Vishnu in the heart, that's really amazing too. These two have been like the most, our Bhagavad Gita, the artwork, sometimes people find it hard to even like realize what's going on the cover.
Okay.
But the science of self-realization, the Bhagavatam 1.1, so beautiful.
Great.
Everyone's into it.
All right, Mahotsaha, you were a joy to speak with, and you've inspired me, and I'm sure all the viewers that are going to be watching. Any one last parting word you would like to say, any potential Sankirtan devotee?
Well, so Siddhanta Prabhu didn't ask me to say this, dear devotees, but please try your best to support Siddhanta Prabhu as much as possible. We ourselves are doing a humble effort to trying to support him. So please, donate as much as possible, contribute to Siddhanta Prabhu's glorious works. His work is saving so many people's lives. And Prabhu, I completely forgot. I really wanted to tell you this one story. And as I told you, I'm going to tell you on the phone.
Go ahead.
I was shooting books in Union Square one time. And I met like this really, really old guy. Okay, he was like probably 70 or like something like that. And then I stopped him and I was like thinking like, this guy's like, he's homeless. What am I doing? But anyway, I just went up to him for some reason. And then he told me that, that he saw the book and he saw a picture of Srila Prabhupada. He's like, there's the Swami. I met the Swami in 1966 in 2nd Avenue. It was 26. Matchless gifts. Or he said something like, wow, really? He said, yeah. Then I said, what happened? He said, I used to go to the Swami and like, at that time, like, they were so poor. They just used to like, give us like small pieces of apple. And I used to go and I used to see the Swami would give me these apples and speak from this book. And I said, wow, that's awesome. And I said, what happened then? Like, basically, why didn't you become a Prabhupada disciple? So then he said, man, then I had a girlfriend, man. I was like, oh, I know how that goes. So he said that he had a girlfriend And then from 1966, he had never seen the devotees or never cared to see the devotees or whatever. And then he said that one day in 1975, he was just like walking the street and he just entered into Fifth Avenue and he had looked up and he had actually seen, he said, and I looked up and I saw the Swami sitting on a beautiful golden chariot, looking completely golden and completely shining with a whole bunch of you Krishnas chanting and dancing. You know, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You know, so, you know, he actually like, so this is like a proper memory of this person.
Right.
You know, then it was on there. But yeah, to the viewers, to everyone, you know, I really request, please, please, please support Siddhanta Prabhu. His memories series has saved my life, given me inspiration, you know, so much inspiration. And, you know, I request everyone to please support this most important work. You know, there's this verse, it says, Chaitanya Leela Amritapur, Krishna Leela Sukarpur, Dohimale Hai So Madhurya, Sadhguru Prasadeta Hai Aswade Sechane Madhurya Pacharya. That, you know, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are already sweet. But if we add Krishna's pastimes, it's like adding a piece of camphor in a sweet rice, it becomes even more, the flavor explodes in the mouth. But on top of all these pastimes, when you add Srila Prabhupada's pastimes, it becomes like the most sweet and nectarian thing. So please support Siddhanta Prabhu and help, you know, give out this Prabhupada Leela more and more and more and more. So that's...
Prabhu, I'll send you a check. I mean,
no, please don't.
No. Anyway,
Please
you're very
don't.
kind
You
to
said
say
it, I
that.
send it right back, Prabhu.
Okay, you're very
You
kind.
won't cash it.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. And
Thank you, Siddhanta Prabhu.
may so many devotees hear this story that you have presented today. It's fantastic.
You please visit us in Atlanta, Prabhu. We'd be so amazing. You know, we'd love to host you. We'd love to hear from you.
My pleasure. It will be my pleasure.
Please, Prabhu. You know, it's our dream to meet you. If you can please bless us, we'll be very grateful.
All right. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to
Thank you
Prabhupada.
very much. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Yeah. Thank you,
All right.
Prabhu.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Yes,
Hari
Prabhu.
Hari Bol.